What up, what up, what up, what up? Excuse me, what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Prince of Haiti back again with another reaction. Like I always say, man, if you fuck with your boy, like the video. If you fuck with me even more, subscribe to the channel, please. Today we're just gonna do like a regular type reaction type shit. I hate saying that. I don't even know why I said that. Like, that's not even the way I talk. But I wanted to react to, I forgot what is this. I be watching this channel on YouTube called Mojo Sports or something like that, I think. I don't know if I got the name right. If I got it right, I apologize. But I'm gonna leave the link to the video in the description. As you already know from a few of my other videos, like, I'm a huge basketball fan. And I didn't get to see that many fights in basketball. But basketball is not like hockey where there's always fights. But like when there's fights in basketball, they're memorable. Like, you don't forget them. Like the one that stands out to me the most is obviously the one the Pistons would run our tests. You know, the Malice in the Palace. Yeah, that shit was crazy. And then there was the one with Carmelo Anthony where I forgot, he swung on somebody. But that was the day I knew Carmelo Anthony was a real nigga, man. But what else? Yeah, we just gonna react to the top 20. I want to say NBA fights or sports fights, but we'll see. And yeah, you can tell me what y'all think in the comments. You know, if you're a basketball fan, you're gonna like this one. You are going to like this one. Here we go. Let me find the damn video.
I thought they said the hockey game wasn't until tonight.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 craziest NBA fights.
And B going at
Shout out to Watch Mojo. I fuck with y'all.
it with Carl Anthony Towns. And the bench is empty, my goodness.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most insane brawls to ever take place during NBA games. Some of these fights got so out of hand, they even led to rule changes throughout the league and its arenas. What's the craziest fight your favorite basketball team has ever been involved in? Be sure to share the scrap with us in the comments below. Number 20, Kurt Rambis versus Kevin McHale. The Lakers and
Celtics. I feel like it's gonna be a bunch of Celtics fights in this one. Cause you know, we be brawling over here.
Celtics have one of the most intense historic rivalries in the game, and their matchup in the 1984 finals brought out quite a bit of fire. During Game 4 of the series, Kurt Rambis went for what looked like an easy layup off a fast break, but Celtics forward Kevin McHale put a stop to that with a brutal clothesline.
And now let's watch it. Cooper and the Celtics, and now the bench.
That's that good defense, right?
Rambis was not happy, to say the least, and began to move towards McHale, but teammate James Worthy pushed him aside. Somehow, McHale only received a foul on the play, and the incident turned the tide in the Celtics' favor. Boston wound up winning the game in overtime and went on to win the series.
Yup.
For three, it's over.
Number 19, Chris Paul.
Oh, I remember this one. Yo, somebody spit on somebody. I don't know what happened, but I remember Rondo said to Chris Paul, "That's why you're never gonna win a ring." And I think he spit on him or poked somebody got spit on, or somebody poked in somebody's eyeball. But that's how that one started. That one goes back. There's history between those two. They might be on there for another fight on this list.
Versus Rajon Rondo. Even veterans get scrappy sometimes, and apparently the bad
Dudes, come on, Mojo. He said Rajon Rondo.
feelings between these two had been brewing for several years.
Throughout Rondo's time in the league, him and Chris Paul have never got along.
Their beef allegedly started back in 2008 when Paul edged out Rondo for a spot on the USA Olympics team. The two got mouthy with each other a few times after that, but everything came to a head during the game between the Lakers and the Rockets. It all started when James Harden ran into Brandon Ingram, who pushed him in return.
Ingram's upset, pushes Harden.
As the two teams stood together, Paul and Rondo started going at it verbally before getting physical.
And then Paul, it's in the face. Rondo throws a punch. Paul throws a punch. Ingram comes in here. He throws a punch.
Thankfully, LeBron James pulled Paul from the scuffle before things got too ugly. But Ingram, Rondo, and Paul were all suspended for multiple games for the incident. Number 18, Larry Bird.
Another one. I told you, Celtics. It's going to be a lot of Celtics and Lakers in this, bro. All these other teams are soft. You know what I mean? I'm a Celtics fan. If you're a Lakers fan, I respect y'all. All these other teams, they're soft.
Versus Bill Laimbeer. These two players allegedly hated each other, and that animosity bubbled over during Game 3 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. The Pistons led the game 97-81, but were behind in the series, and their desperation resulted in some very physical plays. As Bird attempted to take a shot at the basket, Laimbeer took a shot at Bird, body slamming him to the ground.
Seasting, and 24-second clock
Oh!
down, and Bird and Laimbeer go at it.
Good defense, right?
Naturally, they fought, and their teammates joined in. When they were finally upright and apart, Bird took the opportunity to throw the ball at Laimbeer.
Now there's Bird throwing the ball at Laimbeer, and Rodman coming over.
Yo. Yo, Larry Bird was ready to turn up at any moment. That's why they fuck with him. That's why all the old school ball players, they respect him a lot. Yo, that dude was ready to go. He was on go at any given moment.
Both players were ejected. Bird was fined $2,000 and Laimbeer was fined $5,000. Number 17, Kobe Bryant versus Chris Childs. The Black Mamba was one of the greatest players to ever pick up a ball, and he was one of the greatest trash talkers as well. During this game between the Lakers and the Knicks.
Oh. I thought it was Doug Christie, that two-piece Kobe. It was this dude. I remember this. But for some reason, I thought it was Doug Christie.
Bryant and Childs got a bit too close for comfort off the ball. After exchanging some not-so-nice words, Childs shoved Bryant and a brawl broke out.
Shoved. Man, this dude two-piece Kobe. He gave him the bop-bop.
Between Kobe Bryant and Chris Childs.
Chris Childs punched him twice.
Players from both teams, including Shaq and Patrick Ewing, got involved before Bryant and Childs could be separated. Bryant was so heated that it took two officials to pull him away.
Little shove there, Childs shoves him, they talk. Now watch Childs, he's going to hit him with the head, the little bump there, and boom, boom, two quick punches.
When all was said and done, Childs was suspended for two
You got two-piece right in front of Shaq. Yo, that's crazy.
games and fined $15,000, while Bryant was suspended for 1 game and fined $5,000. Number 16, Celtics versus Rockets. When players
More Celtics.
make it to the NBA Finals, their emotions naturally run rampant, and the 1986 series was certainly no exception. During Game 5 between Boston and Houston, 6'1" Celtics player Jerry Seasting guarded 7'4" Rockets center Ralph Sampson under the basket.
And now Seasting and Sampson, and now Dennis Johnson.
Sampson took exception to this and threw a punch at Seasting, and other Celtics players quickly took Sampson to the ground. The benches emptied as both teams came together, and police quickly intervened to break up the fight. Sampson was ejected due to the scuffle, but the brawl seemed to energize his fellow Rockets, and they won the game 111-96. Number 15, Bradley Beal versus Draymond Green. Maybe Beal took Green's Defensive Player of the Year.
This dude cannot say nobody's name right. He done said Rajon Rondo, Draymond Green. Like, this dude keeps on saying everybody's name wrong.
Crown as a challenge. As the first half of this game wound down, the two were moving for a rebound when they got into each other's space. Beal wrapped his arm around Green, and the entanglement escalated.
And Draymond's not going to put up with that, so what was that all about?
This would just be, if they'd separate him right away, maybe it's just a double technical.
The two collapsed to the floor, and their teammates ran to the scene, some getting a little too physical in the process. Once everyone dispersed, Green emerged from the fracas with a magnificently torn jersey.
Draymond's jersey's ripped in half. On the other side, right there.
As if that weren't bad enough, Green was ejected and slapped with a $25,000 fine. Beal was of course also ejected and had to pay a $50,000 fine. Number 14, Robert Parrish versus Bill
Celtics.
Laimbeer. Laimbeer's reputation as an instigator was well known throughout the league, and his antics were enough to rile up the mild-mannered Celtics center Robert Parrish.
And a lot of people have said around the league that sooner or later, because of Laimbeer's physical reputation, that sooner or later somebody was going to clobber him.
With the first half winding down, Parrish, who practiced martial arts, landed some punches on Laimbeer, knocking him to the ground.
But Darren Day, it doesn't fall. The tip by Parrish.
Damn. That was a sucker punch.
Can't get it to fall, and Parrish takes Laimbeer to the ground.
Funnily enough, Parrish didn't even get a foul called on him, making some wonder if even the referees had problems with Laimbeer.
Nah, that was good. That was good defense, right? That's what they be saying, right? Basketball was a lot more physical. It was better defense back then, right? Shit is crazy.
As for Parrish, he went on to set the record for most NBA games played, which still stands to this day. Number 13, Heat versus Knicks. These Eastern Conference rivals had plenty of animosity built up between their squads. During Game 5 of the 1997 semifinals, Charlie Ward and P.J. Brown fought for positioning during a free throw and then fought each other, with Brown throwing Ward into a row of reporters.
I thought Ward was going for his knees, so why not throw him on the floor on top of photographers?
Several players rushed to back up their teammates, including people from the bench. The incident led to the most severe penalties in playoffs history at the time. 5 Knicks players, including Ward, were suspended for Game 6 of the series. Brown, who was awarded a citizenship award earlier that season, was suspended for 2 games.
And right in the middle of it all was P.J. Brown, this year's winner of the NBA J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award. I guess Brown was just saying hello to fellow citizen Charlie Ward.
All 6 players also received fines, with John Starks receiving an additional fine for making an obscene gesture at the crowd. Number 12, Tree Rollins versus Danny Ainge.
Celtics.
Wait, we said craziest fights, not craziest bites. Regardless, both words apply to this nasty incident. During this playoff game between the Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks, Ainge trash-talked the 7-1 Rollins. Eventually, Rollins threw out his elbow to Ainge, and Ainge retaliated by tackling the Hawk to the ground. There was a pileup of players from both teams, and in the confusion, Ainge nearly poked out Rollins' eye. Rollins responded like any bird of prey would and bit Ainge, which resulted in the Celtic needing stitches and a tetanus shot.
The Tree took a bite out of it, and he bit him right down to the tendon. In fact, Ainge was showing me where the stitches were before this game.
Rollins was fined $5,000 and suspended for 5 games of the next season, while Ainge was fined $1,000 plus $250 for being ejected. Ainge apparently still has the scar to this day. Number 11, Lakers versus Rockets. During the game, Kevin Kunert, Kermit Washington, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got involved in a scuffle, causing Rudy Tomjanovich to approach them and try to break up the fight.
He pushes Kermit away. Now, Rudy T, of course, who's the captain of the Rockets, was filling one lane. He's running towards Jabbar and Kevin to calm Kevin down.
Not knowing his intentions, Washington punched Tomjanovich, fracturing his face. As Tomjanovich collapsed unconscious to the ground, the arena went silent.
I didn't see it, but I heard it.
Tomjanovich suffered from a broken jaw and nose and a cerebral concussion.
I was just about to say, he definitely got a concussion, because they looked like they was playing on concrete. The fuck kind of floor was that?
Tomjanovich suffered from a broken jaw and nose and a cerebral concussion. Due to his injuries, Tomjanovich missed the rest of the season. Washington was fined $10,000, suspended for a then record 60 days, and became a much less aggressive player.
The commissioner would respond. A 60-day suspension. The stiffest in sports history.
This incident led to stricter rules regarding fights, and the league added a 3rd referee to games in an attempt to prevent further serious altercations. Number 10, Darryl Dawkins versus Maurice Lucas. During the 1977 finals, an accidental tangle-up escalated to property damage.
Inside, Dawkins just yanks Gross down to the ground and jumps back up.
After Philadelphia 76ers powerhouse Darryl Dawkins tangled with Bob Goss of the Portland Trailblazers, Dawkins tried to hit the other player, only to hit his own teammate.
He tried to break his arm. Yo, that shit was crazy. Yo, what the fuck was wrong with these players back then?
Blazer Maurice Lucas then shoved Dawkins before the two squared up, and fans and police flooded the court.
Dawkins and Maurice Lucas. Somebody do something. It's Dawkins and Lucas. Dawkins and Lucas.
Yo, they were squaring up for like a whole 5 seconds. They didn't do nothing until the...
Both players were ejected. Dawkins was so angry that he ripped a toilet from the wall of his own team's locker room.
They've got to get the fans off. That's the first thing they've got to do, is get the fans off the floor.
The Sixers won this game but lost the next 4, leading to Portland's only championship to date. Some speculate that this particular fight helped motivate the Trailblazers to win the series. Number 9, Michael Jordan versus Reggie Miller. The legendary Michael Jordan was no stranger to aggressive gameplay, and this incident is a prime example. Indiana Pacers star Reggie Miller bumped into Jordan, and the two exchanged some pretty harsh words before things came to blows.
Oh, and Reggie Miller came over and smacked Michael, and MJ is upset about it, and I can't blame him.
Jordan chased down Miller to grab, scratch, and punch his face.
That's where they go after each other to bump.
Weak ass nigga. Yo, MJ getting bullied by Reggie Miller. That's crazy. That's your GOAT.
They both go after each other.
Michael wasn't done there. He got a shot.
Miller was ejected, but insanely enough, Jordan was not. In fact, he wasn't given a foul.
Reggie Miller, he is ejected. Miller is ejected. And Bob Hill just threw and broke his tee. He is gone. Bob Hill and the fans are starting to throw stuff on the floor.
After the game, however, Jordan was fined and given a 1-game suspension. As for Miller and the Pacers, they did not advance to the NBA Finals until after Jordan's second retirement.
Congratulations to the Indiana Pacers. Well deserved. The best team all year. They proved it during the regular season and during the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
Number 8, Larry Bird versus Dr. J. During his career
Celtics
in the NBA, Larry Bird was known for trash talk, but he went a little too far when he elbowed high flyer Dr. J. Despite their off-the-court friendship, the two threw punches and grabbed each other's throats. Both teams' benches rushed to the court, and Dr. J's fellow Sixers held Bird as Irving punched the Celtics superstar. This fight resulted in over $30,000 in fines, with Irving and Bird both receiving fines of $7,500, the second highest fine in the league at the time.
This is a heated ball game, and it's in stages of a blowout. The tempers are bound to flare in an important ball game like this, and Bird still wants a piece of Jay.
Thankfully, after the fight, the two reconciled and are still friends to this day.
Number
7, Marcus Camby versus Danny Ferry. Marcus Camby of the Knicks wasn't known as a confrontational player, but he was understandably ruffled when Spurs player Danny Ferry elbowed him in the chest.
Camby took a shot. Oh, Camby trying to go after one of the Spurs.
After a brief discussion with a ref, Camby dove after Ferry to retaliate.
Oh, Camby still trying to get Ferry. That's a bad move.
Unfortunately, Camby accidentally hit his own coach, Jeff Van.
Damn, I thought he got him. Nah, look, yeah.
Gundy. When the coach attempted to intervene, the scuffle resulted in a 5-game suspension and $25,000 fine for Camby, a 1-game suspension and $7,500 fine for Ferry, and 15 stitches for Van Gundy.
There.
See, Van Gundy saving him. Van Gundy sacrificing himself to try to save his...
Big ass motherfucker, long ass arms. He missed and punched his own coach in the back.
Player.
As you'll see in a moment, this wasn't the only time Jeff Van Gundy was caught in the crossfire of a fight in Madison Square Garden. Number 6, Alonzo Mourning versus Larry Johnson. At the end of a 1998 playoff game between the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks, former teammates Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson bumped into each other, and years of animosity bubbled up into flying fists.
And fists are flying at the other end. Larry Johnson is one of them. Here we go.
Other members of the Heat and Knicks got involved, but the craziest thing about this fight was Knicks coach Jeff Van Gundy grabbing Mourning's leg to try to de-escalate the altercation. As pointed out by Doc Rivers,
fortunately for these guys, they are both awful fighters.
As a result, no hits landed and no coaches were trampled during the scuffle, but Johnson and Mourning received 2-game suspensions and missed the end of the series.
Way to ruin a good game.
Number 5, Charles Barkley versus Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, and there's a swing by O'Neal, and they got a blue.
I remember that one.
Nowadays, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal are everyone's favorite frenemies on TNT's Inside the NBA. But these two weren't always so chummy.
See these two, man. Come on, man. Nobody laughing at. Come on, man.
During a 1999 game, Shaq fouled Barkley, who retaliated by throwing the ball at O'Neal's head, and the two wound up wrestling to the ground. Both players were suspended.
Yeah, Shaq was about to kill that nigga, bro.
Barkley was fined $5,000, and Shaq was fined $10,000. Thankfully, after the incident, their mothers convinced the players to patch up things, and they made amends over a few terrible rounds of golf.
I got to the locker room. My mother was on the phone, and Charles' mother was on the phone. Charles' mom was like, "Don't you hit my boy." I was like, "Who is this?" She was like, "That's Charles' mom." I was like, "Oh, hello, ma'am. How you doing? Y'all don't need to be fighting. I just talked to Charles. He gonna meet you in the hallway. Y'all hug it out, and y'all stop that."
However, this was not the only time Charles Barkley was involved in a fight on the court. Number 4, Suns versus Knicks.
For pushing Johnson, who says yes, yes, and they're going head-to-head. Here comes Barkley.
Yes, that's Charles Barkley once again. The main instigators of this rule-changing fight from 1993, however, were Kevin Johnson and Doc Rivers. Rivers committed an offensive foul on Johnson, and the two got heated, leading their benches to clear out. Thankfully, both teams cooled down, but not for long. Rivers and Johnson
Kevin Johnson and Doc Rivers
clashed again, and a benched Greg Anthony decided to escalate matters by punching Johnson in the face.
Oh, look out. Here comes Rivers after Johnson. We have a free-for-all. Johnson blindsided Rivers. Rivers went down, and this could become ugly.
The teams dogpiled each other, resulting in one of the biggest fights in NBA history, as well as suspensions for Johnson, Rivers, and Anthony.
And now, Johnson diving on Anthony. Boy, this is one you will not...
Look like somebody's getting stomped on.
You will not see in the NBA. This is that's awful.
In fact, Anthony's involvement off the bench led to stricter league-wide rules regarding fighting, which are still in effect to this day.
Now it looks like they have settled matters, and that's the end of the half.
Number 3, Bulls versus Knicks. The Knicks have been involved in their fair share of historic on-court fights, and this incident was no exception. During the 1994 playoffs, Derek Harper of the Knicks and JoJo English of the Bulls scuffled at the three-point line right in front of the first row of fans.
Second, and now we've got a fight with Harper and English. Look out. Look out. Into the stands right in front. Oh, my. Look out. We've got everybody. We've got punches thrown. Ewing, Cartwright. It's right in front of us.
At the sound of the ref's whistle, both teams rushed to back up their teammates. The fight escalated and spilled into the stands.
As he brings him over here and throws him on the floor, you can see what happens. It empties right over the top of the fans in rows 1 and 2.
This was far from the only time an altercation extended into the crowd. But it's not every night that the NBA commissioner is in attendance. David Stern had a front row seat to the action.
Here's the commissioner. Naturally, it happened right.
Rest in peace. My bad. Rest in peace, David Stern.
Down below him, no more than 10 feet away, as it stumbled into the first and second rows.
Harper received a 2-game suspension. English received a 1-game suspension, and the league made stricter rules regarding fights. Number 2, Knicks versus Nuggets.
There it goes again.
Yeah, this is what I was telling you about with Carmelo. Carmelo swung this nigga just said.
Look at this. What is he doing?
There's just something about Madison Square Garden and fights, isn't there? This insane history-making melee from 2006 began at the end of the game, when Knicks player Marty Collins committed a flagrant foul against Denver Nuggets guard J.R. Smith.
Oh, that's a tough foul, Marty Collins. Careful. No. What's Robinson doing?
The Nuggets rushed to Smith's defense, resulting in a huge brawl between both teams that spilled into the stands. The Nuggets and the Knicks were fined $500,000 each, and 7 players, including the league's top scorer Carmelo Anthony, were suspended for a total of 47 games, making this the most penalized game in history at the time.
Well, there goes the Knicks, 5 on the floor.
I can honestly say, and I've been around the NBA since 1982, I have never seen 10 players kicked out of a game.
10 players, that's crazy. How much you want to bet? Number 1 is the Malice in the Palace.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the
versus fans, aka the malice at the palace.
Told you.
This is a disgrace.
It's pretty ironic that a man who later changed his name to Meta World Peace was at the center of the worst fight in NBA history.
Then Wallace is fouled, and Wallace did. Oh, Wallace! Right at our chest. This has potential to be serious if they don't get between.
Known at the time as Ron Artest.
Bro, this shit is crazy, bro, because, like, we forget. This thing escalated because a fan threw a cup of beer on this nigga, Ron Artest, Meta World Peace. And then from there, this dude got hit with the beer. He was just laying there, hit with the beer. This dude, found the dude that hit him, locked in on him, and just went up there and just started beating on this motherfucker.
He committed a foul on Pistons player Ben Wallace.
Him, Steven Jackson, Danny Granger, Jermaine O'Neal, yo, they all went up there and they was, who else was there, man? I don't even remember. They started beating on these dudes.
Who then shoved Artest. The two got physical, and a fan added to the incident by throwing a Diet Coke in their direction, prompting Artest to climb into the stands.
Now Artest has jumped over the scorer's table and is trying to get down to the bench. Artest is in the stands.
The arena exploded into chaos between players, fans, and security. Even after the fighting stopped and players headed to the locker rooms, fans continued to throw drinks. Artest received a 73-game suspension, the longest in league history. 73 additional game suspensions were handed out. Players and fans received assault charges, and NBA rules regarding security and alcohol sales at games were changed.
What a disgrace.
Shit was crazy, bro. They throwing beer and popcorn on these dudes, bro. Yo, man, they real for that, for fighting in a hostile area. You in a city that's not yours, yo, that's crazy. Like, all because of a flagrant foul, like a little push. But I think it was deeper than that.
It's showing from the Pistons fans here.
Do you agree with?
I think it was deeper than that. It had to have been, because look at all the shit that happened. Like, that little flagrant foul push, that's not the reason why it turned into all that, bro. There was some underlining shit going on with them niggas, bro. Because they started beating on everybody, bro. But homeboy in the crowd, I mean, that's what you get, bro. You ain't really about that life. You threw a cup of beer on one of these dudes. You didn't think nothing was gonna happen. There was already a fight mode. Like, that was stupid. I hope you learned your lesson. But yeah, yo, there you go. That was the top 20 NBA fights. I told you there was gonna be a lot of Celtics in that one. I saw Lakers and stuff. But I'm going to stand on what I said before. Celtics, Lakers, I'm a Celtics fan. You already know I fuck with my Celtics. Lakers, I fuck with y'all. Everybody else, bunch of softies, soft teams. You guys all soft. Nah, I'm playing. Anyways, yeah. If you fuck with your boy, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to leave the link to the videos in the description. And let me know what you think in the comments, yo. Which NBA fight was your favorite NBA fight that you've ever seen live or ever seen in general? Like, on TV, it don't even matter. But yeah, I'm out of here. Peace. Prince of Haiti.